Salutations YouTubeville, this is Anna, aka Boondoggle Bliss, occasional reseller or hobby reseller of fashion, of thrifted fashion. Okay, my intro's coming together slowly but surely, and there, right there is Gigi, who will make an occasional appearance. You guys know her as my little reselling assistant and a little helper. Anyway, today we're talking about stock photos and how to find them for Poshmark. I'm saying Poshmark because the majority of the other websites do not allow stock photos and will take your listing down. I speak from experience. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about how to find stock photos, and I have a list of 6 things you can do to find your stock photos. I had to have a list. I'm having trouble that it's like an even number 6. I wish it was 5, but I squeezed in this other one. I might take it out. I don't know. For now, it's 6. And then I have some examples to show you, real life examples, and how you can kind of go around the stock photos if, for example, you can't find the exact item. There are some things you can do to still make it work. Stay tuned. So why using stock photos? Well, for one, they look lovely. The other thing is they, if found quickly, are a very efficient way to style something versus dressing up your mannequin. Also, there is numerous, you can say studies, but we obviously know they're not statistically backed up due to, lack of large amounts of data. So they're just like sample studies that a lot of bloggers have done, asking individuals on their preferences. And I truly believe stock photos outperform any other photos, and I'm referring to flat lays, your kind of semi-professionally styled items. But there is one caveat. There is one type of photo that seems to very often outperform a stock photo, and I think you would be surprised if you looked into it. Can you guess what that is? Can you guess what type of photo in surveys frequently outperforms a stock photo? Come on. Are you yelling at the screen? Are you yelling? And the answer is a selfie. Yes, a selfie. A lot of individuals actually prefer the actual item styled on you. Not on a mannequin, not on a dress form, but on you. So there's something that personalizes that listing for the potential seller, because they can see the actual item, not pretty shot, on a pretty stock photo, but the actual item on an actual person, not a stick figure model, that there's some psychology behind it that allows them to prefer that. And so from a likelihood of buying something, a selfie, nicely done selfie, oftentimes outperforms a stock photo. So remember that. If we were to order the buyer preferences of the types of photos, the number 1 photo preference would still be the professional photo, the stock photo. The second one would be the selfie. The third one would be your kind of semi-professional photo that you take, for example, hanging it on a wall, clean wall, really pretty, or maybe some little iconic decoration you have. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the flat lay. The flat lay, although we like them and we think they're pretty and they're great for Instagram purposes, from a buyer perspective, the flat lay is not as appealing because, number 1, they can't see the entire piece of clothing. There might be other things in the picture, and they're like, what is it that I'm really buying? So from a buyer perspective, flat lays are still not as favorable. And number 5 being the unprofessional photo drop, the item is laying on your clothing, on your sheets, or on the floor, or whatever. Obviously, that's the least preferred method of styling when trying to sell an item. So that's that. Now, when is it worth it to find a stock photo? Because it could be a lengthy process to find one. So I kind of, in my mind, have these four thoughts on that. So number one, it's worth it when the item will yield a high profit. So a higher cost item, higher return potential. And I always have these little rules and boundaries in my mind so I can efficiently get through the day, but I have this 5/100 thing. So I won't spend more than 5 minutes if an item's going to yield less than $100 in return. So you might think, oh my God, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. I will not waste my time on a lower yield item. I mean, you got to ROI your time, and the return on the investment. Is it worth it to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes on something or list 3, 4 more items on Poshmark? So I've set this boundary for myself. Now, so like I said, once again, if it's going to give you a big return, and you can set that boundary in your head as well, for you it might be a much bigger item. Number two, if it's a newer item, meaning it was something that was produced, distributed in the last 2 years, and the likelihood of finding the stock photo is there, and quickly you can do it, yeah, go ahead and just do it, even if it's a low return, because it's quick, and most likely it will be quicker, which is the next point. It's quicker to find the photo, then style it on your mannequin or on yourself, or on a dress form, that from an efficiency standpoint, yeah, quickly grab it and move on. And the last one being, if the item is already listed with other people, and other people have, nice listings, and they don't have perhaps a stock photo, and you want to outclass your competition, stock photo will be a good time investment. Once again, it has to be quick, and you gotta get to it. Now, for the stock photos for items that are in excess of $800, let's now get into also talking about some of the things you can do. First, I'll cover the 3 ways to find stock photos that fall within my 5-minute parameter. Then I will mention 3 things to do for items if you want to take it a lot further, and those that will yield a higher return, and they fall outside of my 5-minute parameter. So 3 and 3, here we go. So the number one method of finding a stock photo is using the style number, not the RN number. Oftentimes I'm finding people are looking for an item using the RN number, and that is incorrect. I will tell you more later about the RN number and when to utilize it and how it could help you, but the RN number talks about, lists the company that either manufactures, sells, distributes, or imports the item. Therefore, it's not going to help you in finding a specific item that you're looking for and that specific style. So the number one way to find something is using the style number. You probably have heard of the clothing brands that are easiest to find stock photos with, like J. Crew and Madewell and Express and White House Black Market, and Torrid is great. Torrid always lists the style number. So here's what you're looking for. Generally, the style number will be on the fabric tag, not on the label tag, although it might be in the back, but look for where the fabric content is listed. And where that will appear is generally like at the bottom, to the side, or, and this is the fabric tag I'm referring to, or there might be an additional little tag that will list some numbers. The cut, the style, what else is there? And the cut date. So you can approximately see when this item was created. But it might have a style number, it might have an item number. So that's what you're looking for. And then the best way to do that is then just input that into your Google search under the brand and then the style number or whatever name they're using here, item number, and then list the number. By that point, you should be able to find the item if the company does keep its stock photos either on the website, or if it's being resold, you're going to find the stock photos for that, or if it was mentioned in a blogger, by a blogger in their blog and it has the style number, so you're very likely to find it on a lot of the newer items. So like I mentioned, for example, J. Crew is very, very easily found. All you do is you type in J. Crew and there's going to be a number. Where is my number? Followed, what does it say? Style, SU. So that's when it was released, but the style number is right. Is it focusing okay? Style. Hopefully you guys can see that. Anyway, so that's that. Express is another one that does produce style numbers. I'll show you that really quickly as well here, and it generally isn't on a additional little taggy. Now sometimes those taggies will be cut off and you're not going to be able to find it, right? Well, we'll talk about how to find that in a little bit. Also, I wanted to mention that if you do for Free People in Anthropology, unfortunately, the style number will not appear on the fabric tag. So if the item, you don't have the actual tag for the sale tag, chances are you're not going to be able to find it really easily. But if you do have a Free People item or a Anthropology item, here, this is the style number that you will be able to find this under. If I didn't have that style number, I'll still talk about how to find that at that point. So that's that. That's how you find a stock photo using the style number. Now, the addendum to that is, what if there are a lot of numbers and you don't know which one is the style number? I'm going to illustrate that for you right now using White House Black Market. So White House Black Market does have a style tag, but there's lots of numbers on it. And you're like, okay, so is this entire thing the style number? Do I enter all of it? What's going on? Once again, here we go. There's other numbers and you don't know which one is the style number. I call this the reverse style number lookup. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on the website of this brand, White House Black Market, go in and find any clothing item and see what kind of style numbers they are using. Oh, I know it's so simple, but I think it's so simple you might take it for granted and haven't thought of that. So find the style number that each clothing item has and look at the number of digits. Look if there are any letters in there, you know, how long it is, any letters, or just the style of it. And then take that and apply it to your item that has the style number listed. And obviously the most closest one to it is that. So that's the reverse number lookup. I found that to be true on several items I found. There's a bunch of different numbers. I had no idea what it is, and I went to the website. Now, keep in mind, if you are looking on the, let's say the item is sold at Nordstrom or at Macy's, but also has its own website, such as Lucky Brand, you know, Free People and all that, you want to go on the actual brand clothing website. That's where you're going to find it. Because Nordy's or Macy's or other department stores, they might have their own numbering system of some sort. So the style number that you see on that website will be much different than the one on the person that actually imported that item. Another quick disclaimer to the style number. There are times you may not find the item using the style number. I had an example. I had this on creme romper, this Americana kind of hippie romper, and it did have a style number. So I typed into Google the brand and then the style number, nada. I got nothing. I tried using the brand romper, long romper, pattern romper, and the style number, nothing. But then I typed in, what did I type in? The brand romper boho, and I got the result. So it's not always, it won't always be. It'll be like 90-something% of the time, but don't underestimate just a simple search without the style number as well. Generally, when you search something, you want to do like 3 or 4 things. If you can't find it, obviously you're going to move on. But that's that. Remember that. Addendum to the addendum on the style number search. This is a Halston Heritage silk dress, and you'll notice that on here we have, and I don't know if it's coming in or not, we have a style number and a cut. If you can't find it using the style number, do try using the cut to find it. Once again, it might be a totally different pattern, fabric, and all that, but the cut might be the same, and you might be able to find a stock photo. So don't underestimate looking for the cut. Moving on to number 2, Google search. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can never find anything, but there are some hints and tips I want to give you. So with a Google search, start, and you're going to think that's a little crazy, but start with specifics. So always start with the brand name, the clothing item, so Free People dress, then describe the pattern. So this is where it's going to help you. Pattern and like fabric. So if it's a lace dress or if it's a pattern something dress, and then the fourth item, anything that's unique about it. Generally, I find these 4 components help you get the item. You don't want to get into the colors. And why? Because the picture of the item that is available might have a different color. You can still use that picture and just list that the item you have, of course you're going to have a picture of the item, is of a different color, but the style is the same. So those 4 things really help. And there are kind of, I have in my mind 2 things. There's the image search, which is the first one I perform. And then the second one is the web search, because if you're looking just for the images, you're not going to be able to find it. But if you do a web search, you might find a listing that's similar to that, let's say on eBay, and they may not have the stock photo, but they might have the exact name of the number, of the item, of the dress. And this is like most frequently, this is how I've been able to find it. I might not have the style number and all that, but the eBay seller, the Poshmark seller, whoever is selling it, will have the exact style name. And if you have the style name, your chances of you finding the stock photo are so much more higher, so much more higher. So let's see, as an example, Diane Von Furstenberg and her wrap dresses, they all have names. Well, as soon as you know what the name is, finding a stock photo to back that up, awesome, piece of cake. So the third way of finding a stock photo is just going to the brand website. And I say that because we underestimate, once again, that kind of simple thing. So what happens very often is that some items are reproduced the next year, if they were popular the first year, with different patterns, fabrics, or whatever, but the item is still the same, except it has a different color. And I'm going to show you that right now. Here is a brand called PWOAO, and it's distributed through Nordstrom's. they produced this shirt, and it has a style number, several years ago. And then about 2 years ago, same shirt, different style number, different pattern, same exact shirt. So, same exact length, measurements, and everything. So the moral of the story is, when you go to that website, you may find something like that, beautifully styled, same exact item, but different style numbers. All you're going to have to do, and this is my quick tip, is use the stock photo, and then maybe do like a pick stitch, where you have the stock photo on one side and the actual pattern of your item on, in the same picture. So the potential buyer who comes in will see what it looks like on, and right off the bat they're going to know that the pattern you're selling is different. So that's one thing. That's an example right here. I actually have another example. I have the style number. I went to search for it. Guess what? There is no stock photo of this dress. However, this dress is out there in a different color, scheme. So the pattern is the same, style number is different, and the colors are different, but the pattern is exactly the same. It's just a very light blue, not the deep cobalt blue. So I'm able to use the stock photo for that, and then once again include the exact color combination so that the potential buyer knows exactly what I'm selling. So these were the 3 methods that fall within the 5-minute parameter of finding a stock photo real quick. Now let's talk about the 3 other ones that are that extra thing you can do. So the 4th one being going directly on the websites that you most commonly either shop for or sell on in the secondary market. So whether it's eBay, The Real, ThreadUp, MERCARI, whatever, and searching on those websites to find if someone is selling something like that or similar. It is helpful in the sense that oftentimes you can get maybe a style name, or someone described the item in a way that you have not before, and so when you do enter that into the Google search, you'll have a more defined a search, and you'll be able to find the item. So I find leaning on other resellers that have sold that item is very, very helpful. And of course, using their terminology or whatever. Maybe they have the style number listed, but they are on a website that does not, they sell on a platform that does not allow stock photos. You can get that style number from them, use the stock photo on Poshmark and whatnot. So don't underestimate doing that type of search. The 5th one being the designer database. So I've talked about this before. It is a Facebook group that basically exists to help each other identify brands and finding stock photos, style numbers, and whatnot. Now, obviously, this shouldn't be abused. If you're going to go on there and use it, you're going to have to contribute as well. It's not a one-sided thing. So if you do join, if you're constantly abusing it, I hope they kick your butt out. But I've used it sparingly, and when I did, found stock photos. There's just people on there that are really good with it, do it a lot, and can find it really, really quick, and they're just wonderful. So designer database on Facebook is a great resource. And then last but not least, number 6, this is when you have something really special. Let's say you found a Chanel suit at a local estate sale. You can see that it was something that was made in the last 5-6 years. Don't underestimate contacting Chanel. So you can either contact them through their website. You can call them if a number is available. I don't even know. I'm just giving you an example of whatever methods of communication with the company exist. Try them. I guarantee you, oftentimes you will get some direction. You will get some direction, okay? So whether they'll give you the the year the item was produced, or they'll link you to some pieces of that collection that are still for sale through their channels of distribution, or they'll give you the exact name of the item. They are very helpful, and I think we don't use them. Now, naturally, if there's a mad dash to now contact all companies about their items, and all resellers do it, they might kind of scale back. So once again, use it sparingly, use it for your special items, and that's that. So those are the 6 ways of finding stock photos. Let's talk about the RN number. So the RN number is the registered identification number given by that government agency that deals with fabrics, textiles, FTC, right? Don't understand the role really or whatever, but I'm sure if I read some stuff I could educate myself. But nonetheless, the RN number is sometimes useful. And so some of the instances are when there is no label, brand label. Let's say it was cut off because it was kind of a see-through item and no one wants to see the tag when blah blah blah, and they're cut off, but the fabric tag exists still and you can find the RN number. Obviously that's the number one more obvious reason. The number 2 use of the RN number is when you are trying to kind of find out if this item is vintage or not and what's going on. So there are 3 numbers you're going to come across: the RN number, the WPL number, and the CA. CA does not stand for California, everybody. CA stands for Canada. So that's the number that is registered with Canada, and that item is distributed in Canada under that number. So that's what CA is. WPL, I don't know what it stands for. I'm sure it stands for something. Was used a long time ago between 1941 and 1959. So if you have an item with that number, you definitely know it's something that's older. The company still may exist under a different registered number, but it helps you figure out kind of what decade that item is from. Now, also, if you are really into vintage items, there is a method, although not as reliable for the last 10-20 years, but for older times, in figuring out the RN number, and when the company was first registered, there's like this formula figured out by some people. I'm going to give you the link below. Perhaps you might find it handy. I've never had to use it. It hasn't come up for me, but then again, I don't sell a lot of vintage, but supposedly it's a useful way of getting into kind of trying to timestamp this item. So, information down below. And the third way, and this is to me the most important reason for using a RN number, is validating brands. And I'm going to tell you about this. This is new. You probably haven't heard it anywhere else. This is brand new on this channel. I think I'm the first one to talk about it. Probably not, but I'm just going to tell myself I am. And I'm coining this the boutique effect. The boutique effect. The boutique effect. So I just made up that name. It's the boutique effect. The boutique effect is, in my mind, the thought that boutique items will yield a higher return, therefore using the boutique kind of labeling, or selling items in a boutique and charging more. Kind of, there's this boutique thing, that there's something more, there's additional exclusivity with a boutique, whether it's of secondhand items, or your private label, whatever, individual small fashion producers, and whatever. And I'm going to show you why you need to pay special attention to that. Check out this dress. So, lovely dress, right? Beautiful little dress. Look at this. my God, it's a Prada dress. Oh my God, I found this at the boutique. You wouldn't believe it, for $400. It's a gorgeous Prada dress. I can't believe I got it. They said it was vintage, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so this is not Prada. So you just got conned. So I'm calling this the boutique effect because people, what they're doing is they're finding other brand items and sticking exclusive designer brand labels on them and selling them in boutiques, which then perhaps land later in thrift stores, or you might pick it up in a boutique thinking, oh, this is only $100. These Prada dresses go for $800. I'm going to get a big return. Look at the RN number. If it's too good to be true, it generally is. Okay? And remember, I warned you, the boutique effect. Another non-designer label example is this dress right here. Lovely dress. Has this unique, never heard of before brand. Ooh, this is a boutique dress, exclusive, probably not too many to go around. Yeah. You know what RN number that is? Donna Karen, New York. Okay? So, remember, someone out there is getting into the game of finding things, repurposing them with a different brand label and selling them. So to me, that's a con, and don't fall victim to that. Please do not fall victim to that. Be very careful. Like I said, if it's too good to be true, it generally is. So that is how I feel it's the best way to use the RN number to validate the brands. So you heard it here first, everybody. And last but not least, the best way to get some help with an item, whether you're not sure if it's authentic, whether you're not sure if it's something that you should spend a lot of time researching and finding stock photos for, or whatever the case is, when in doubt, reach out to the reseller community, especially on Instagram. Very often I still get tagged and asked, hey, do you think this is authentic? Hey, what do you think? Who do you think produces this? Because there's a lot of us out there who love fashion, like are crazy, breathe it and dream it, and can authenticate certain things. I know I can authenticate certain things, and I wouldn't say I specialize in it, but I'm good enough to really contribute to the conversation. With clothing, I would say I'm pretty good with anthropology. But anything else, I would have to do research just like you. So reach out to your reselling community, tag some people that you know have some knowledge, or just do a regular post, hashtag reseller community, asking for assistance. Everyone is going to try to help you. Now, you have to get exposure to that question, because if you pose it, you don't use any hashtags, no one's going to see the conversation is taking place. So you got to add some hashtags in there for those that consistently are in those circles. So make sure you're hashtagging correctly or tagging specific individuals, and we'll get you the help you need. Of posts that I've created using PicStitch. So PicStitch is my favorite app for creating beautiful cover photos. It's really easy for me, and it has so many options for different layouts, so I just wanted to share it. I'm not affiliated with the app. I'm not getting anything if you use it or whatever. I just wanted you to know that's my favorite app. You can really quickly do what you need to get it in that perfect square. You have edit options within there, so PicStitch is my fave. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, I warned you here first about the boutique effect. Thank you for watching.